Askreddit, what was your most embarrassing moment? I was in my kinda class and there was a boy, we will call him Kevin, that always shit himself. My teacher smelled something funny and asked us all who did it. Kevin's best friend, let's call him George, came to Kevin's rescue by going around the entire class and sniffing everyone's asterisk from the chair they were sitting in. He smells Kevin's asterisk and says, oh, it's not him. He smells like fruit roll-ups. Then he smells my asterisk and tells the teacher I shit myself. So the teacher makes me come up to her desk and turn around and proceeds to look down my pants. I was clean. It was Kevin. I'm scarred for life. That is horrific. Why on earth did the teacher allow that? The bud sniffing. The fud sniffing. The worst was on a busy Saturday where I had 3 funerals and a wedding to play as organist. By the time the wedding finally arrived after the 3 funerals were over, I must have been tired or daydreaming because I played funeral procession music as the bride entered the church rather than the trumpet voluntary as scheduled. Sounds like a scroot wedding. Married in our grades. Back in HS sitting at a girls basketball game when I sit down next to one of the cool guys. I'm trying to be social with him and we start to chat it up about the girls. Well, there is one girl on the team who had hypertrichosis, no hair on her entire body. I lean to him and say, well, that can't be all bad, right? Give him the nudge nudge wink wink. He straight face looks at me and says, that's my sister. Most awkward silence of my HS years. Yeah, well, most girls would kill not to have to shave their legs. Not op, but if I tried to save it this way, I'd stutter and pause after there, and then probably just drop out of school and join a wolf pack in the wild. When I was in 3rd grade, I peed my pants in my chair because my teacher wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. I thought I was being really slick by leaving it there to disappear into the carpet. My teacher definitely realized and tried to convince my mom to hold me back a year. I pooped myself in 1st grade because I was afraid to ask to go. In kindergarten we had bathrooms in the classrooms themselves, but in 1st grade, nope. I've always been awkward and thought I could hold it till bathroom break time. Nope. I peed on myself once in kindergarten because my teacher wouldn't acknowledge me raising my hand. Since then, for the rest of my school years, I pretty much never asked. If I put my hand up and they didn't acknowledge me, which was rather often, I just stood up and walked out of class. Of course, then they'd notice me. Bitch, I'm not waiting for you when either I'm about to pee on myself or my period is about to overflow everywhere. Walked face first into one of those cast iron street light posts because a cute girl called out my name from the backseat of her friend's car. It made a bong sound. Edit a word. A bong sound. Bubbling water followed soon by someone saying, whoa, I've been pretty oblivious and done dumb shit in a city before. One time, I was walking out of a shop while taking a bite out of a slice of pizza when I bumped into somebody noticeably shorter than me. I hastily apologized, and when I looked down, it was actually a trash can. I apologized to a trash can for bumping into it. To make matters worse, there were 3 or 4 people staring at me like I was crazy. 5th grade. Told my mom I didn't feel good and she made me eat breakfast and go to school. She thought I was faking. Come morning assembly, I projectile vomited on 3 people and all over the floor. Needless to say, I wasn't faking. On the bright side, you may have secured a day off for your 3 targets. On the other side, one of them had anti-vaxxer parents and your flu killed them in under a day. Had her pretty sure I just ate something weird or had a bug. I remember going on the school field trip the next day and my teachers bringing preparations in case I got sick. Man, I've had so many it's hard to choose just one. Sophomore in high school in biology, when I suddenly need to use the bathroom, they always had us use sign out sheets, so I was signing myself out right in front of my crush's desk. I bent over and arched my back so he'd have a real nice view of my asterisk in my American Eagle jeans. Even wiggled it a bit. I was a flirt. Get to the bathroom and realize I was just wagging around my period stained asterisk for the whole world to see. And it was really bad too, like flag of Japan bad. Had to wear my friend's sweatshirt around my waist the rest of the day. And I definitely know my crush saw it because he was a really nice guy and said something to my female teacher while I was gone so she could let me know. Cringing all over again. I was in an exam but bunged up. About 10 minutes in, I sneeze really loud, practically a shout. Out flows a deluge of snot into my hands. It's super sticky and still connected to my face, so I'm essentially flossing with my own mucus. That reminds me of a time in media class. I was talking to a friend where a sneeze and a cough came out of nowhere and a green goop flew out of my mouth and hit the keyboard. My friend ran in disgust like there was no tomorrow. Edit. I also had to hide it somewhere, so I picked it up and made a decision that the inner sleeve of my pants was a good place. So I did while he was watching from across the room. 11-day edit. My best comment is my most embarrassing one. Nice. I thought this said a green poop flew out of your mouth for a second. At my little brother's funeral I kept asking people, why is my brother in a box? Where's he going? I was 10, which makes it even worse. TBH, no one told me that he'd passed away, so I was just confused. No one told you that your brother had died? I think that's on them, not you. It was probably the shock of the situation that had you asking questions. Sorry for your loss. Thanks, I understand why they didn't now. It was a shock to them because it was so fast. He came home and passed the same day. Underdeveloped heart. Oh, when you said little brother I imagined him being like 5 years old. I think not telling you in that situation would have been a little messed up. I ran cross country in high school. This particular day at a home meet was 117 degrees outside. The race was still on. Some of us suffered from heat stroke and were taken away by ambulance. I ended up losing control of my bladder when I crossed the finish line because of how badly I was trying to finish the race without passing out. Luckily, my dad met me on the field with his half-gallon thermos and I just soaked myself with it, trying not to tear up as I told him I had just peed from running so hard. He felt really bad about it, but proud I did so well and finished. Ironically, on the night of my 16th birthday that same year, I wet the bed and broke down when I had to tell my dad about it in the morning that he laughed at because he thought I was making a big deal out of it. No dad, I just didn't think 16-year-olds still do that, and it was my birthday. Cross-country runners know all about peeing oneself. There was a girl on my team that would always have to go right before the race. Eventually she just said it because the lines to the porta potties were too long and would piss herself on the line as they were counting down. There are also a lot of people who black out slightly before or after the finish line and pee themselves and vomit. Lots of vomit and shit on the rare occasion. I've become a professional at woodland toilet use. Always bring your own TP to a CC meet. At my big birthday I invited lots of people, approximately 55 to 60. Then suddenly they are playing a national classic birthday song. Everyone was insisting that I should dance and formed a circle around me. It was so spontaneous, so I began to break dance. My god, it's cringe. Even some of my classmates still remind me of that moment. I really felt humiliated. Don't cringe. You made them laugh and was a good sport about it. You can laugh too. Imo, it would have been worse if you did nothing. Back in middle school when AIM was a big thing, I was chatting with a girl I had a crush on. She had a Hispanic last name. Anyway, I wanted to send her something I thought was funny. So I did the old Ctrl+V and pressed enter in the same motion without checking it first. Apparently, the last thing I had on my clipboard was 8th Street Latinus.com. As you may infer from the name, yeah, it's PO*N. Oddly context specific porn. I tried to scramble and think of an excuse. There was none. I think I said oops, wrong link, no need to click that. May have blamed a computer virus. That sounds like something I would do. Then I just closed the application in a panic. Based on her behavior the next day, she absolutely clicked that link and absolutely didn't think it was a virus. Oh my god. How are alive when this cringe is still in your life? I used to go to a pub down the street from my house every Friday after work. I became quick friends with the owner and the bartender. One day I had a few too many. The bartender was off, sitting with me drinking. His wife shows up beside him, kisses his cheek, says hello dearie. To which I replied, oh, is this your mum? She became instantly hostile. It was his wife. I apologized, paid for my drinks, apologized again for being drunk, and speaking out of turn, then left immediately. The bartender didn't seem fazed, because he knew me well, and knew I didn't mean anything by it. That was about 16 months ago. I haven't returned due to work schedule change. I bet they think I'm just too embarrassed to go back for a pint. My grandpa flagrantly broke the half my age plus 7 rule, and married a woman a third of his age. It was a palatial affair, with a horse-drawn carriage out front. When I met her at the ceremony she had her nails done, and they were extremely long. I happened to be going through my U2 phase and asked, if ambition bites the nails of success, why are yours so long? Still embarrassed about quoting Bono lyrics a quarter century later. I just realized half the age plus 7 would be the same age if you were 14. And it makes relationships impossible below 14. Sounds good. Took me a minute to realize why it's impossible. Then I thought about the second person.